Welcome to Hoops High, Chicago's leader in youth-produced sports broadcasting and youth media education. Hoops High is produced by high school students learning the skills of professional broadcasting. Hoops High is the flagship program of Free Spirit Media and is made possible in partnership with After School Matters, the Chicago Public Schools, and Chicago Access Network Television. We hope you enjoy the show.
Since we have everyone here, let's get started with setup.
You are watching Hoops High. Remember, you can watch Hoops High every Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. on CAN TV Channel 19 for all of the hottest high school sports action around. And right out the gate, Irving comes in with a quick two. Frazier is showing good ball movement. Number 2 has it. The number 5 steals the ball. And he is off. Number 2 steps out for Frazier. Irving inbounds the ball. Good pass to number 10 with the quick bucket.
This is the opening gates of the game. Frazier has scored twice already.
Irving comes up with the ball again. Number 10 has it. Good ball movement. Good inside pass. Number 11 scores for Irving. Number 2 is looking for wide open player. Another steal. Number 3 gets the contact. We'll go to the line for 2.
Something to think about. Number 1 point guard for Frazier is the college coach's son.
Yeah, and he comes with a lot of skill. Let's see if he's able to show some of that during this game right now. First free throw is up for number 3, and it is good. Hoops High is produced by high school students who are learning the skills of professional broadcasting. All of the camera work, announcing, directing, and engineering is done by students. Number 3 goes up for his second free throw, and that is also good. Number 5 gets ready to inbound the ball for Frazier. To number 1, who has the ball. Number 10 passes it. He gets the ball right back. Comes back to number 1. Good pass inbound. Down low. Number 5 misses it. They come over with the rebound again and misses it. Number 11, good pass to number 3, who couldn't convert. Number 3 comes up with the steal. That was also a good pass. So both teams are just dishing out this excellent pass. So they just have to learn how to convert on both of them. Irving is showing excellent defense right now. And a reach-in is called by number 10 for Frazier or number 10. Irving gets ready to inbound the ball. Number 15, good pass down low to number 10. He lays the ball in very quickly. Irving is not wasting no time getting the lead. Free Spirit Media strives to give youth a voice so that we can inform and inspire others. Thank you for supporting our work. And number 2 for Frazier goes to the line for 2. Number 2 goes up for his first free throw. And he is off. He goes up for the second free throw, and then it's also off. The ball is tipped out by number 3 for Irving, and Frazier retains possession. Frazier inbounds it to number 1. One pass to number 2, and it's almost tripped up, but a reaching foul is called on number 3. Frazier gets ready to inbound the ball again. Number 1 has it. And he tries to drive in. And it looks like another foul was called. Frazier's going to inbound the ball again. Another steal by Irving. And he has Houston to score. Oh, and now we're going to toss to our sideline reporter, Adriana.
Game has 9 minutes and 47 seconds left on the clock. We have Irving and Frazier playing today in the 8th grade tournament. The score is 12-0. Number 4 for Irving has majority of the points so far with a total of 4 points. Number 1 for Frazier is one of our NLCP staff, Coach Lewis Thorpe's son, Jalen Thorpe. If you would like to stay updated, please stay tuned for more Hoops High. Thank you.
And number 5 for Frazier converts on the N1. Has an N1. We will go to the line for 1 more. And Frazier gets ready to inbound the ball. Frazier inbounds it to number 1. Give it a slick crossover. And draws contact. And we'll go to the line for 2. And he scores on the first one.
Here is number 5 So far in the game, he has 2 steals and 2 points.
That was a good basket by number 10. Good steal by number 1 for Frazier. Very creative pass, but they lose the ball. Irving comes back up with it. Number 2, James. Good ball movement by Irving, and number 5 scores the basket. And the ball went out of bounds. Frazier gets ready to inbound the ball. HoopsHIGH is a flagship program of Free Spirit Media and is run in partnership with After School Matters, the Chicago Public Schools, and CAN-TV. This is a team effort all around, and we are grateful for our partners who make this possible.
And a nice shot by number 2 for Frazier.
And number 3 for Frazier goes down after being hacked. Frazier's going to inbound the ball again. Frazier inbounds it to number 3. It goes up and is fouled, and we go to the line for 2. The first basket is off. And his second free throw, bouncing.
And
number 3 holds the ball. Keep up with game action and the HoopsHIGh crew with Twitter. Just search HoopsHIGh FSM and follow us. Irving has possession. Pass to the corner to number 11, who airballs for 3. Like the foul was called, and Irving, a substitution is called. And Frazier will inbound the ball from the opposite end of the court. It looks like Frazier is going to go to the line for 2. For 1, and that is off. Number 3 grabs the rebound for Frazier and puts the ball back in. Number 11 pass to number 3, pass to the corner to number 2 with the good fake. But the layup is off. They tried to fight up for the ball and missed. And number 10 for Frazier tried to put the ball up and missed. Number 11 for Irving goes coast to coast with the layup. Turnover by Frazier. And some key players to watch out for Frazier is number 1. Saying that his daddy has been a coach at Collins Academy, you can see where his sons will get his set of skills from. And by seeing him play from experience, I know what he is capable of. And that is scoring points and getting steals, both offensively and defensively. For Irving, some key players to watch out for is number 2, number 3. Excuse me. Number 2, 3, and 13. All 3 of them has been showing excellent steals with their trap defense and putting enough points, just offensively and defensively, being very active on the floor.
Sloppy passes from Frazier.
Score now being 19-9 with a minute left in the first half. Number 11 with the up and under and misses it. Number 1 throws it up court to number 13, and he misses a layup. Irving just made a substitution. And Frazier inbounds the ball with a quick basket. Number 2 brings it up court. Good pass to number 22 who misses the layup. Good save by Irving. Number 3. Number 2 with the layup. With the floater, and it's good. Number 1 with the half-court prayer and was slightly off. And that is the end of the first half, score being 21-11. Irving with a commanding lead over Frazier. How do you think this game has been going so far, Otha?
So far, I think Frazier is just not ready for this level of competition. The other team is just taking over. They're getting steals, getting boards, playing as a team. Frazier is just here as a pickup game.
I agree. It doesn't look like they're very as involved in the game as they could be, seeing that this is a tournament. They could potentially be put out of the bracket. I would think that they were trying to do more and just trying to do more for their team, playing as one. How do you think Irving is playing so far?
I think Irving's just doing good. Like their entire starting lineup has scored, so that means they're passing around and getting different shots, threes, mid-range, layups, and they're hitting their free throws.
I also agree. Irving is being very active, really on defense. That's where most of their points are coming from. Them being very good defensive players and coming up with a lot of steals. As Circum gained this commanding lead over Frazier. You see both teams sitting on their bench, looking up game plans of what to do next. And now we're going to toss our sideline reporter Adriana with an interview.
Coach, how do you think your team's doing out there so far?
Defensively, we're in good shape. Offensively, they're not sure where they need to be. This is our second game. The first game was an hour ago, so we're still a little excited, jitters, but we're trying to get that out now.
So what do you think they could do in the second half to become better?
Be patient.
I see that I see that you have number 10. He has majority of the points so far. Do you think he's one of your key players out there today?
All of them are pretty key, but he just happened to have a good moment.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
If you would like to stay updated, please stay tuned for more HoopsHIGH. Thank you.
I think he got something on him. I just seen him up there acting a little suspicious. And he's coming from behind the stool. Yeah. I think we should check. Go ahead, get on. Hey, could you get on the wall for me?
Wait, that's
President.
Yes,
Fred,
yeah.
do you have something on you? Is it something in your
Nah,
pocket?
check. I think we need to put on
in
the
your
ground.
pockets. I asked you, did you have something in our front fit? I asked you, if you had something on you to tell me. And what's this?
What's that? What you looking at it for?
I asked you, was this yours? And you told me no. So you lied. See this? I'm a police officer and you lied. You know what happened when you lie to police officers?
I hope you learn from lying. Don't never lie to the police, okay?
Liar.
No more. It just wasn't even necessary.
You're rocking with Amari Stoudemire, and you're watching Hoops High. Watch it or watch nothing.
I think I can put stuff, but I don't know. I'm trying to trust people to myself.
Excellent. Perfect.
Oh, that's that girl from school. I don't like her.
Girl, you don't even know her.
It don't matter. I should have known there ain't no dyke.
She can look over here.
No, because that's like so gay. Like, she know I don't like her. And look this stuff on Instagram. You want some right here?
Bags of cheese. Give me one of those.
No, you pick it up yourself.
Get
Thank
it.
you, just like that.
Yeah, get it.
Hello, my name is Kevin Durant. You're watching Hoops High.
And we're back.
Excuse me, Frazier. Number 2 has the ball. Passes to number 10. Passes to number 1. Good pass inside to number 3. And the ball just rolls out. He will go to the free throw line for 2. First free throw is going up. And it is off. I believe Frazier will need to start capitalizing on their free throws if they want to come back in this game. And the second one is also off. The 3 for number Irving, number 2, goes in. Frazier's number 1, brings it up. There's a good pass to number 1 to get out of the trap. He draws contact and will go to the line for 2. First free throw is up, and that is good.
And the timeout is called by Frazier.
As they go into these huddles, into their timeout, what do you think the coaches are saying to both teams?
I think the coaches of Frazier, I think they're telling them to play as a team and work the ball around, try to work on those free throws, and get better shots up. And I think the coach of Irving just trying to make sure his team keeps their heads in the game, probably run over a couple of plays to keep diversity in their game style.
I can definitely see both teams saying that. Yeah, for Frazier, they just need to get more into the game. They're not really giving it their all. They're looking kind of lazy out there, like they don't want to play. Irving, on the other hand, is being very energetic and aggressive on both offense and defense. And that is why the score is now 24-12. But the game isn't over yet. They might have a chance to still come back. Frazier inbounds the ball to number 3, who is fouled and will go to the line for 2. His first free throw is up, and that is off. A timeout is called for Frazier.
Not only can you see the difference in the score in the game, but you can tell that the players are tired. They look at the depth of the Irving bench and look at the depth of the Frazier bench. Frazier has like 7 players. Do you think that makes a difference in the game?
In games like these, yes, because being in a tournament, if they win a game or lose a game, they will go to another bracket, and they have to play more games after that. So if they only have, let's say, 6 or 7 players, those 6 or 7 players are going to have to play the full game for all the games that they play. And at the end, I know they're going to be tired, especially if they're playing hard, to try to win the game that they played before that. So yeah, it'll be a very big difference in tournaments.
Number 3, and his free throw is good.
Irving brings the ball up there. Number 2 just ran straight into the referee.
Number 2 from Irving ran into the ref. But it seems as if it's the player's fault. He should probably have his head up. He got his head too much into the game.
Yeah, now it's a dispute between the refs and the coaches.
Charlie, you part of the game.
It's going to be Frazier's ball now. Don't forget to stay tuned for the Free Spirit Media News at the end of this broadcast. It comes on at 9:50 every Saturday. Learn about what's going on in Chicago and find out the latest on the most important issues with teams. And number 10 with the big foul.
I think that foul meant something. It was tension in the game, and then it led right to that foul.
Yeah, number 5 will now go to line for 2. And that first basket is good. Second free throw was up, and that is also good. Number 1 brings the ball up court for Frazier, and he is trapped. Good defense. Like the ball, so it's out. Frazier will keep possession. Frazier brings the ball up court.
And a strong move from number 3.
And now we're going to pass our sideline reporter for a game update. Jump ball. Irving retains possession of the ball. Number 5 has it at the top of the key. Quick is set. And the 3 is off. Number 3 passes number 13. He misses. Number 10 gets the rebound. He also misses. Number 5 for Irving brings the ball up court. You're just now tuning in. You are watching Hoops High. We are now located at 1313 South Sacramento, where we have Irving versus Frazier playing right now. The score is now 26-15 with 7:45 left in the second half. Top of the key, looking for somebody to pass it to. Pass number 3. Good pass inside. Number 10. He's really been an active player on Irving's team. Good pass.
The dish off from number 3. He is a very versatile big man.
Pass to number 3. And he push up the 3 and it's off. Over the back. Irving heaves it up court and it's stolen by number 2. Oh, it's stolen right back. Number 11 has the ball and the layup is good. That was good, a good defensive stop by Irving. Number 2 for the 3 and that is off. If you just can't seem to get enough of Hoops High, friend us on Facebook. Get to know the cool and what goes on in every Hoops High production. Good steal for Irving. He passed to number 2. The ball is tipped out of bounds by Frazier. And Irving returns possession.
I ain't take that.
Good steal by number 3. And the ball is thrown right back. Number 3 has the ball. Good pass. And the basket is good by number 15.
Number 3 came out here looking like Ricky Rubio with all those assists.
He's very good at finding an open man and making the pass. Number 3 just missed the ball, couldn't get his hand on it. A reach-in foul is called on Frazier.
You want to make up some stats?
Number 2 draws the foul and will go to the line for 2. We know we are not always perfect. We are working hard and always learning. We thank you for your support and encouragement. Both free throws were off by number 2. And Frazier misses 2. Seems wide open layups. Number 3 tried to draw the contact, but the foul wasn't called. That was a wild throw. Number 13 tried to save the ball, but it was still out of bounds. Irving returns this possession. Want to see more Hoops High? Now you can see 4 games on our brand new website. Go to www.hoopshigh.org to see games from the past or stream live from home or your mobile device. Frazier has good ball movement at the top of the key.
Foul is called on number 1 for the reaching foul. Number 5 checks back in. We're probably going to see a couple of more steals.
Good pass to number 13. He had just missed. Luckily, a foul was called, and number 13 for Frazier will go to the line for 2. And the first free throw is off. second free throw is up.
And a free throw is missed. They were right here.
Number 12 makes the layup.
And number 1 throws it to number 13, and another foul is called.
Number 13 for Frazier. It's at the free throw line. The first one is up, and it is good. The second one is up, but that one is off. Number 2 gets the rebound, puts it up court.
And that is the game. 34-18. Frazier came and played a good game, but they cannot get the W as Irving takes that win. The key players of the game for Irving were majority of the team. They all worked hard and played as a team. The key players for Frazier were number 3. He did a lot of good things. He scrapped and got the rebounds and putbacks.
Yes, and we just want to thank everybody who's watching. Thanks for tuning in with us. We've just been working really hard to try to make this as good as possible for you guys who's not able to make it, to be able to watch the game and know what's going on here. So we thank you for taking your time out of your day to just watch these kids play. It's a very exciting game, and now we're going to toss our sideline reporter. Our sideline reporter, Adriana, for the play of the game.
Better.
So how do you think you helped how do you think your team helped you get out with this win?
More like pushing the ball, giving it to me while I was open.
So what do you think you guys are gonna do in the series? I'm sorry.
I think we can win.
All right.
We can win it.
All right, thank you. And if you would like to stay updated, please stay tuned for more HoopsHIGH. You can watch us every Saturday at 8 p.m. on Channel 19 Comcast. Thank you and have a nice day.
You can watch HoopsHIGH on CAN TV, Channel 19, every Saturday at 8 p.m. Please visit www.hoopshigh.org to learn more. HoopsHIGH and Free Spirit Media would like to thank our sponsors. We are grateful for their support in making our mission of youth media education and opportunity possible.
HoopsHIGH is family, communication.
Enjoy it. HoopsHIGH is
astounding, creativity,
commitment.
HoopsHIGH is exciting, meaningful.
HoopsHIGH is
technology,
spirit,
a community. HoopsHIGH is home, love, dedication,
inspired,
HoopsHIGH!
If they probably never was exposed to it, they probably would have never have done it, but it's something that you see that interests people a lot.
I never worked with a camera, you know, it was my first time learning about a camera, you know, zooming in, zooming out. It was a real good experience for me, you know. I think it changed a lot in me too. It changed how I think, and it changed like something I like to do in life.
When I get older, I want to be some type of actor. So being in this classroom really helped me out, really exercise my ability to act.
We shooting it and we shoot it off like what we done been through, and like people get to see it and they watching it and they liking it.
Like young kids in the community can do stuff that's like worth some type of value.
Meet Jaden, a 16-year-old from Chicago. He likes reading, playing basketball, and daydreaming. As one of 75 million youth in America, he is the future of our country. But today, Jaden's future is uncertain. A new economy is evolving as Jaden tries to find his way in a school system where more than 42% of students drop out and even more fall behind. For Jaden and others like him, the future looks grim. But there is hope. Youth media programs connect with kids like Jaden, moving them from discouragement toward opportunity through the power of communication. Jaden learns about journalism, technology, and culture. He spends his time engaged at school, in youth centers, and at libraries. He discovers how to observe the world around him and share his own stories. He becomes one of more than 10,000 teens involved in the Chicago Youth Voices Network, a collection of innovative programs that come together with a bold vision to reach more people like Jaden, to transform education, and to shape the health of our city. Together, the network gives vision to the journalists, artists, engineers, and leaders of our future. One story, poem, film, blog post, one youth at a time.
Good job, Ryan.
Good job, boy.
Who can see when a bird is down? Who can feel when he has no sound? You wander around and you feel so small.
I shouldn't have waited this long.
Afraid to fall, afraid to fall.
Hey man, did you talk to your girl yet?
No, she haven't talked to me in a long time. Speaking of her, she just texted me. Said I need to be ASAP. Wonder why. Man, come on. She told us to meet her over.
Yeah, but it's too cold to stand out here.
I should have waited. Teen pregnancy is nothing to play with. You should just wait.
As a kid, I was unaware of the things that influenced me or seemed harmful.
the clothes that I wear, the music that I listen to, the TV shows that I watch, the celebrities that I look up to. How am I influenced by what surrounds me, and how am I represented in the world because of my age and race? This documentary asks the question, why?
What we have learned over the years is that most of our actions and our decisions are not made by our conscious mind, but by our unconscious mind.
Advertising agencies spend a lot of effort on trying to figure out what's cool to kids, what's cool to teens.
And what people who are experts know is how to appeal to those unconscious urges and to get to that part of your psyche that basically compel you to want to do certain things.
So what you're going to look at is you're going to try and find out what your audience's interests are, what they're passionate about, and try and buy programming that reflects that passion.
They'll get kids to come in or parents to come in as focus groups, and they'll show them products or they'll show them possible commercials, and they'll see how they react to them, and so they're getting a sense of what the kids really like.
Now everybody's so into true religion and rock jeans now. I mean, if you're not wearing that, to them, you're considered, broke, or you're not up to date with fashion.
As far as race, I feel like more African Americans are into name brand things.
We have been brainwashed. We have been systematically conditioned as black people to play a role in society that is secondary or inferior to the role that other people, the people who control society, play.
If things appear a lot on television, they can have an influence on the culture. For example, if there's a lot of violence on television, then if I'm watching a lot of television that has violence in it, then I'm going to start to think that the world is full of violence and murders and criminals. And then that's going to influence how I live my life and how I deal with being out in the world. And it's not based in reality, it's based on a fantasy created by television.
You learn not from what people tell you, but you learn from observation. I can tell you something that is abstract. I can tell you that 2 and 2 is 4 and whatever it is, but when you see two people and two people get together and you see 4.
I think that television and movies, or just media in general, have to be very careful not to give African American teens stereotypes. Like they need to allow African American teens to see the full diversity of what they can be and what African Americans are out in the world.
They portray us as being reckless, careless, don't care what about our futures.
They view us as we don't get an education, we're not proper, we're not non-superior to the Caucasian race.
Very, very seldom do you see an African-American character who comes from a wealthy family. It's like normally they're urban. They're like the street kid. They might be the bad boy. They might have a little bit of edge to them. Very seldom will that black character be like in charge of a department or leading a group in some kind of way. He's normally like a background character.
Techniques that advertising agencies use to target teens, there are a number of them, but one of them, the most prominent ones, is what you call peer group influencers, using people who teens look up to.
Obama,
Beyonce,
Derrick Rose.
Like if Derrick Rose endorses a pair of basketball shoes from Nike, then even though I'm slow and can't jump and not very good at basketball, I'll think that I'm cooler buying that pair of shoes because Derrick Rose wears them and he's cool and he's an MVP.
Frequently a celebrity will be used to endorse a product when the product itself might be new.
They use somebody who's out there in social media today in order to advertise their product, and that product is going to get out depending on who the person is.
Think about Beats by Dre. The way that was really kind of introduced was they had all these athletes who were kind of a cut above everybody else. And the inference that they wanted people to draw from it was that, you know, if you're a little bit different from everybody else, you would be wearing our product.
Before Lil Wayne became Lil Wayne, he was just Dwayne. Like, he's somebody who wore a regular pair of sneakers or somebody who wore a regular pair of pants. But now, since he's up there, it's like he gotta come out with new stuff, just try to make the youth follow him.
Why do it alone when I got the Dude Nation?
What happens is that black teens are often depicted in advertising, and black culture is often used in black advertising to appeal to white teens. They're usually rebellious and they want to go against the grain. You know, they want to be they don't want to be in line with where their parents are. So the most rebellious thing that a white kid can do is act like a black kid. So that's why 80% of all rap music is purchased by white kids. 80%.
So the question is, why do advertising and media corporations do it? They spend billions of dollars in order to retrieve the minds of teens. What is it about? Is it all just for profits? What's our real value? Yes, negative media sells. Positive media can have a big impact too.
I remember the Cosby Show was a big deal.
What Cosby did that was really cool was he showed a family situation that everybody could relate to.
This was like an African-American family that was, the whole sitcom was based around an African-American family, and they were a very successful family, and they were funny, and they were charming, and they had a great family life.
It portrayed a positive aspect of the African-American people.
And the whole show was middle-class African-Americans educated, the kids educated also.
It's very important that people can visualize, see themselves in positive, realistic situations.
You have to complain when you see stereotypes that you don't like. And more importantly, we have to put ourselves in a position where we tell our own stories.
Even LeBron James did a commercial with a boy who didn't want to wake up for school, and he kept going down on the mattress. Like one day, like you saw the commercial until he was completely on the streets. So I felt like State Farm did a good job of expressing that, like, hey, going to school is important. Like, you not waking up that morning, not going to school, is taking you down even farther in life.
We don't have to eliminate all the bad media. All we need to do is to have it compete with some good media and have it predominate. If we can just get 51% of the media messaging that you receive to be positive, then that would be a great place to be.
Instead of showing us at our worst, we can show ourselves at our best.
Now I am aware of the logos that I wear, and the things that I watch on TV can influence me. I know what needs to be done. We need to make our own stories and spread the positive message so that people like me, African American teens, aren't misrepresented.
No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
I just think such an ugly word. No one wants to hear you like being called fat, calling someone else fat. So I do not like that word in general.
I would say it is fatty foods, given I'm a dietitian, so I might be a little bit biased. But things like butter, fried foods, or even healthy fats, like oils and that kind of thing. So probably fatty foods is the first thing that comes to mind.
Probably being a physician, the first thing I think about is some of my patients who are overweight or obese.
As a child, I always struggled with my weight. I always thought it was normal because when I looked around me, everyone looked like me. Then I thought, how did society become obese? Is it in our control to control these things? This led me to make this documentary about obesity.
To me, I think of obesity as an excess accumulation of fat, and the body mass index is a way of measuring that, and it's basically a measurement of your weight for your height, because obviously two people could have the same weight, but depending on their height, it could make them a normal weight or overweight.
For most people, it's a lifestyle choice and not as much genetic. There are some cases where it is genetic, but for most people, it is a lifestyle choice.
I think there certainly are some research coming out that shows that certain genes may predispose someone to obesity or being overweight.
I think primarily because I think of it as a lifestyle choice, a little bit like smoking. And we don't call smoking a disease. It's a lifestyle behavior that can lead to disease. And that's kind of how I think of obesity.
I think that obesity predisposes people to diseases, but is obesity a disease in itself? No.
If people feel like they have a disease, they feel like it's something that happened to them. They don't quite feel the personal responsibility, and so they don't feel as motivated to make a change of their own accord. They just want to get a pill, or they want to have something done to them to take away this disease. When we think of obesity as being a lifestyle issue, we're a lot more likely to have people be motivated to make a change.
Being an obese girl was hard. Skinny girls would call me names and tease me. Some days at school I wouldn't eat. I would go home and cry. At home I had to eat what my mom prepared. I wasn't old enough to control what my mom cooked. Sometimes she would make fried foods, but all I really wanted was a salad. I guess I learned at an early age not to make the healthiest choices. You learn what you get taught.
A lot of people in society think that people who are overweight are lazy, and that is not true. A lot of times there are other circumstances that are preventing someone from being able to either exercise or eat right.
I think for adults often it's a perception that they're being discriminated against. There might be some clear examples, but I think often it's because of the experience that they've often had as a child, because many obese adults were obese children. It's easy to carry that into adulthood, and even if nobody is thinking something negatively, it's easy to assume that they might be thinking something negative.
We know that Americans are getting fatter. We know that we're getting heavier. And I think there's lots of different reasons for that. We know that our portions have increased significantly. We know people are busy, people are not working out as much. We know all these different factors. So it's kind of a side effect of our lifestyle, and health is not necessarily a priority for a lot of people.
There's risks of heart disease, heart failure, stroke, diabetes, high blood pressure. Some cancers are a higher risk when you're obese. Arthritis is another one. Generally not as a young person, but over years of carrying extra weight, the bones do wear down.
Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, hypertension, musculoskeletal issues, like back pains and knee problems.
One thing we are seeing more and more in adolescents is diabetes. It used to be that the type 2 diabetes we really saw only in adults, say over age 30, but as our society's been getting more overweight and obese, we're seeing that creep down to younger ages, and it's not uncommon now to see teenagers who have diabetes.
I wonder, would people make changes if they knew they could die from being obese? Being a victim of people talking about me lowered my self-esteem. I always ate just to feel better, but I didn't realize I was facing death.
If you are depressed, you might turn to food for comfort. And then you do that, you feel better, then you turn to food again, and it's a cycle. So you can become obese because you are depressed and turn to food, or you can be obese and depressed because of that.
Certain emotions, particularly ones that are more anxious related or more sad related, people do often tend to comfort themselves through food. And so sometimes that even then becomes a habit, even when maybe that same emotion isn't there. A person might just be used to eating certain foods, certain times of the day, certain quantities of food, but I think often emotions can trigger people to overeat.
We know that if you are stressed, then your blood pressure is going to go up. We know that your blood sugar can actually go up if you're stressed. We know if you're in pain, both of those things can go up as well.
We have, a lot more ways of observing the mind called functional MRIs, and ways to see what the brain is doing, what parts of the brain are lighting up with different emotions or different experiences. So there's a lot of research into that area. But I think in terms of obesity, the body impacts the mind in some of the ways we already talked about in terms of emotions, motivation, habits, patterns.
After speaking with these experts, I learned there are some aspects of our lifestyle that we have control over, like the choices we make about food.
I think it's also important for people to understand how to shop within a grocery store, and what I call it is perimeter shopping. The ingredients around the perimeter, the outside edge of the grocery store, are often the fresh ingredients. And that's where the fresh vegetables are, the fresh fruits are, the fresh cuts of meat, the fresh dairy products. When you start shopping the aisles is where you find a lot of the packaged food that has a lot of the preservatives and the chemicals and the colorings and things like that.
Don't just go and buy the frozen items that would last for a long time. Still try to buy the healthier options. Yes, they might not last as long, and you might have to go to the grocery store more often, which would be difficult in a food desert, but it will help make those better choices.
It's difficult, and it takes even more effort. It takes effort to eat healthy. You have to go to the grocery store. You have to buy these foods. You do have to cook somewhat, which a lot of people don't like to do. And so, of course, when you're in a food desert, it's going to take even more effort to go find the foods, just find healthy foods. You're going to have to drive a little farther, take a bus a little bit farther. So it's difficult.
But I think what people have to think of this as is a lifestyle change. It's not a diet that you do for 2 months and then go back to your old ways, because that hasn't made a change and you'll gain any weight right back that you lost. So it's really a new way of living. It's a new way of eating. It's a new way of acting, being physically healthy and active. So I think people have to start with that mindset that this is a change I'm making for the rest of my life.
Another lifestyle choice we can make is how much we exercise.
It's recommended that you exercise between 30 and 60 minutes a day. And that's just not cardio. A lot of people think that if I get on a treadmill for 60 minutes, I'll end up losing weight. So not only do you want to do your cardio, which you do, resistance training is very important. So what it does is when you exercise and do cardio for 30 minutes, once you stop and your heart rate goes back to normal, you are done burning extra calories. If you do resistance training, you're building muscle. So your body, after you're done, needs to continue rebuilding the muscle you just worked on. So you're going to end up burning more calories and losing more weight afterwards.
Lastly, we should think about the amount of how much we eat. Instead of sitting on the couch eating a bag of chips, count the chips out. Put them in a small bowl.
A lot of times we lose our ability to know when we're full. One of my sort of sayings about how to lose weight is eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. So part of that's retraining yourself, and one way to do that is through portion control. So one example of that is taking one serving but not getting second helpings. A lot of people are used to, after their first helping, going back and get second helpings, because it's part of our mind perceiving, helping us understand if we're hungry or if we're full. So if you've got a giant plate and you've only got a few small portions on there, you think it's not enough to fill yourself up. And so you have this feeling, I'm going to be hungry when I finish. Whereas if you have a small plate, you have those same portion sizes on there, the plate looks full. So your brain says to yourself, boy, I'm going to be full when I finish this. Look at all this food that's on my plate.
Try to make small changes. So when I'm working with patients, I will encourage them to make one change. Whether it be focusing on eating breakfast every day, whether it be focusing on going to the gym or getting some sort of activity once a week, or getting one serving of fruit and vegetable in their diet if they're literally not getting any. And then working on that change for about 4 to 6 weeks, because we know that it takes a long time for something to become habit. About 6 weeks for something to become routine and part of your lifestyle.
No matter my shape or size, I learned to love myself. But I also learned the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. Still, this issue is complex and can be overwhelming. There is not a simple answer. But I do know, if you take baby steps, you will find new ways to take control and make a new life for yourself. Nobody is responsible for your health but you.
What are you doing? You cool enough to talk to my sister? I don't think so. You're a nobody. You're a nobody. Because you're a nobody.
Don't just stand there. Say something.
Growing up on Chicago West Side, my mom and her twin sister were just two examples of individuals coping with the difficulties raised through the lack of adequate support, job opportunities, poor education systems, and epidemic incarceration of others within their community. In order for members of these communities to thrive, the structural barriers must be overcome through the understanding of deeper issues such as in a disinvestment in community resources.
You now put a moniker on the community or a name on the community that says it's blighted, that it's disinvested, that it's quote unquote a ghetto, a slum. Now you've created this other space where people now can internalize that and actually think that to be true. Thinking about a community like North Lawndale, it's a larger story than drugs and drug addiction and drug distribution. I think it's critically important to think about how quality of life issues have been compromised in many ways over the last 60 years in North Lawndale.
People don't want to move here, so the property value has gone down. Jobs don't want, or businesses don't want to come here, so there's not a good employment base here.
It don't help that when you turn TV on, you listen to the radio, that you always see some black face on TV committing a crime, and all that's just part of the system, just trying to justify whatever they're doing for us, the judicial system.
If you listen to the news, the number of shootings and robbings and stabbings on a regular basis are here all the time. So if you look at North Lawndale more than anything else, everything about the community has gone down.
In actuality, we have 60 years of destabilization.
They can't keep stores in the little malls that are around here. People are trying to move out. They don't send their kids here to school. So the community is dying.
As I ride through the neighborhood, the thoughts come to my mind is I remember when I was younger, our neighborhoods, I'm not saying it was real prosperous, but there was a lot of life. Wasn't all these vacant lots and everything in the neighborhood. I ride through, I see a lot of despair. Got a lot of people out here today that don't have a lot of hope right now.
Make it difficult for a person to buy a home or rent an apartment. Then they have to do other things to survive, to get to the next day. and then a substandard school system that may not allow you to think about these issues and concerns critically. People now may be suffering from depression because of that condition, hence the proliferation of particular drugs because that feeling goes unaddressed.
Nobody gets up in the morning and thinks they're going to be an addict. Most of the time, people who are using drugs get the drugs or become involved in drug use based on family, friends, community.
If we understand drug addiction and drug abuse as a symptom of that destabilization, then we can think about the community holistically. You're feeling that there isn't a particular option, then one of the ways to try to alleviate the pain would be to self-medicate. To numb this thing that's perpetually making you question your existence.
I take everything back to slavery. We've been taught as a people not to trust and hate each other. During the civil rights era, we fought together for us to obtain certain rights. Today, it's a lot different. A lot of those rights that we fought for, it's like we aren't taking advantage of it right now.
Young people have got to take some ownership for this. You know, it's not okay, in my opinion, just to be a subpar teenager.
If you've never seen anybody go to school or work a job and come home on a regular basis, then you believe that this is the way to make money. And it's definitely an easy way.
The majority of folks who are in hand-to-hand, open-air drug markets are not engaging in that work to get rich, right? Most of those folks are engaging in that work to eat. So in many cases, you have families for generations who have only been able to survive because those support networks have all been taken away.
It has to do with that's all your family has ever done. Here in this facility, we've had times where we've had 5 generations from the same family in here doing the exact same thing.
For me, I really want to think about that system, because if there are no support networks, and if we don't have any knowledge of those support networks, then what can we actually do? And blame is thrust on us.
From the community, wherever you have drug sales, you tend to have a deterioration of that community. Just look around in any of your districts.
These spots that used to be drug spots been taken over with gentrification going on and everything. So now you got these dope guys battling for the same area, you know, within a confined space. And you get a lot of shootings, you get a lot of fighting and all that stuff, people getting hurt. I tell the guys out here all the time that the least thing that can happen to you out here is you get arrested. The worst thing is you can get beat down real bad or you can get killed.
Let's go from the community portion. The arrest of that person, it is seen as a relief. This person isn't out there selling drugs, impacting the quality of life of the community.
So if you have a felony in Illinois, you can't hold almost 60 jobs. You can't be an electrician, you can't teach. So this thing around looking at how disenfranchisement negatively affects communities, it's kind of long-term imprisonment for people for nonviolent drug offenses, doesn't work at all. When we talk about the prison industrial complex, when we talk about mass incarceration, I always think about the issue of nonviolent drug offenses, people who now have no support networks.
During the rise of crack cocaine in the system, presidents and Congress, whatever, they put in that if you did certain crimes, judges had to go by a set of standards and they had to go with the minimum sentences.
Black males 18 to 35, 25% are in jail. If we look at current incarceration rates, 1 in every 40 black people are either incarcerated or under some form of state supervision. There are more black people in jail now than there were folks listed as slaves in 1850.
a young black male is more liable to be arrested out here and be jailed any other sector in society.
Is this a product of a system that perpetually dehumanizes people?
When they talk about something being epidemic, it just really is.
You know, there's a temporary relief, but it is just that, it's temporary, because everybody that goes in jail for drugs does not stay in jail for drugs. That person eventually comes home.
What usually happens when people are incarcerated for nonviolent drug offenses, if there's nothing for them out when they're released, then we get into the issue of recidivism.
Those folks go back to what they knew, and that is, at the end of the day, they know how to make money.
It's critical to have support networks in place. But I don't think you should have treatment over here, education over here.
Well, the things I think that we can do better is to get into schools earlier than what we do.
It's not so much rested in a bad person, but a set of decisions and a condition that, if you're unable to see it, can be heavily detrimental to your life.
Even though my aunt fell victim to drug issues within her community, she is no longer suffering due to this brutal reality. However, it still remains a problem not only on the west side of Chicago, but all over the country as well. Situations such as these can only be changed by understanding and changing the structural issues and law enforcement policies with which low-income communities are faced.
Affordable, for one, and being able to afford to go to a doctor when you need to go to a doctor.
It's really, there's really no word that comes into my mind. What comes into my mind is how unjust and how expensive and how really terrible it is.
Breast cancer, ovarian cancer, sprained ankles, broken legs, lupus, and bipolar disorder, just to name a few problems my family has faced. In the Declaration of Independence, it says that all men have the inalienable right to life. If this is true, why can't everyone in this country afford health care? In this film, I set out to demand answers about the healthcare system in America. I began by looking at the Affordable Care Act.
I can't really describe, and I don't think anybody can really describe the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act is one of the most complicated and along the way changing law. The law has, I think, something like 1,700 pages or 1,900 pages, and I don't think that there is anybody who really knows everything that's in it.
I know that the Affordable Care Act is supposed to be available for everyone, and that it's based on income. So I think that's what makes it affordable. And if you have an income, it's based on income. And if you don't have an income, you're still able to get or afford some type of quote-unquote health care.
Before, when you wanted health insurance, if you didn't have it through your job or you didn't have access to it through Medicare or Medicaid, you would have to go to every different insurance company. and you'd have to ask them whether or not they wanted to sell you insurance. So you have to fill out a question about your whole medical history, everything that's happened to you in the past, and then each of those insurance companies would decide whether it wanted to sell it to you. And then you'd have to do research to see what is covered by those insurance plans, because there were some things they were required to cover, but it was different from state to state. There's a list of 10 categories of what's called essential health benefits that every plan has to cover. So all plans are much more comprehensive than they were before, and they can't reject you for being somebody who has a pre-existing condition or had a medical history where you've had a lot of different things happen to you in the past. So it's quite a bit different. And now there's also a website, Get Covered Illinois, where you can go to right away and find whether you're eligible for Medicaid or whether you're eligible for private coverage, and then see all the plans that you might be eligible for.
I've gone online to Get Covered Illinois, and wasn't able to make it through the first stage of it because of some of the questions that it asked, and so my next step is probably the phone, and if that doesn't work, then I will probably go down to one of the offices and get face-to-face with somebody.
Independent experts now estimate that millions of Americans who were uninsured have gained coverage this year.
One of the things that the Affordable Care Act does is it used to be that children, once they left school or college, were on their own. One of the provisions in Affordable Care Act is that children are covered by their parents' insurance until they turn 26.
35% of people who enrolled through the federal marketplace are under the age of 35.
Some benefits of the Affordable Care Act are no annual or lifetime limits on health care, and also a large improvement of the women's health services. This means no more being charged more because I'm a woman. Because I'm a woman, does this mean that I don't deserve the same as a man? I feel that health is important for everybody.
Just being a healthy nation, I think right now there's been a lot of talk and movements about, even our children getting to the place where they're moving and active and eating healthy, and, studies that show that America is becoming, overweight, and, obesity becoming a legal disease and things like that. So, and these are things that need medical attention, whereas sometimes individuals can't always, work through the process, but need professional medical input, advice, in order to address some of those situations.
We all, we need to be healthy to do the things that we really want to do in life, like have a good job where we can go into work every day, raise our kids, and spend time with our families, and just anything you want to do. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to get the most out of your life.
It is important because you have to take care of yourself. In order to be a productive social being, you need to be taken care of. If you have any kind of physical or mental issues, needs, you can't really exist. And besides, healthcare can be a question of life and death.
And it is a matter between life and death. All of the changes between the Affordable Care Act could have helped my grandmother get the help she needed early on, before it was too late.
That the number of Americans who've signed up for private insurance in the marketplaces has grown to 8 million people.
Will certainly be more costs in the immediate future, because the more people who get insurance, they'll certainly, we want them to go see doctors maybe when they couldn't before, and go in and get the care that they need. So there will be a little bit more costs. One of the theories, though, is that if you can get people to go to see a doctor on a regular basis, maybe we'll catch some of these diseases that they get before they get too bad. So I would say in the short term, you might see you'll definitely see more costs up front, but hopefully all that pays off in the future when we have a healthier population.
Again, I think if there was any law that I could introduce, it would be to make it affordable so that almost anyone could be able to afford and get health care if they need it.
I didn't grow up in this country, and the more I learned about the healthcare system in this country, the more appalled I was by the disparities and by the way, by how much it costs. Single payer, which we also call improved and extended Medicare for all, would guarantee health care to everyone from birth to death. So everyone would be covered for life. We envision that it would be paid for by taxes, and it would be publicly funded, that therefore it would be publicly funded and privately delivered.
I think the American people need to do what their role or what our responsibility is as citizens in regards to making sure we're providing all the correct information and doing whatever it is that we need to do in the process. And then the government, in overseeing the process, needs to be responsible and accountable for making sure that it is equitable, that there isn't any opportunities for classism to get attached to this.
Overall, the Affordable Care Act is a step into the right direction, but we shouldn't stop here. We need to fight for the healthcare system that works for everyone. In the making of this documentary, there are still worries in my mind and challenges to face. But with this new healthcare system, I believe that everyone can now claim their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Why you ain't come to the party?
I forgot I was studying all night.
No, it's okay to live a little.
Lifelines change, they seem to expand. What is this scene where my voice screams, this is happiness? Hills are glowing, is this still real life?
Prostitution is gender inequity. And prostitution is simply one way that men get to have that kind of authority and power over women. The community thinking that women should be accessible to men and provide sexual services at any time and in whatever way a man wants. So prostitution and sex trafficking is everywhere in Illinois. It just looks different. You know, we might see pimps, for example, hanging out outside of DCFS foster care group homes. Human trafficking occurs in the same ways and with the same tactics here in Chicago as it does in Thailand or it would in Europe. Oftentimes people think that human trafficking is about a child being kidnapped and put in a brothel in India, for example, and that's true. But the same kinds of tactics and strategies are used here by pimps who have never heard of China. They are targeting people who they can get away with it. They're looking for particularly young people who look like they're in distress, who are vulnerable for some reason, like maybe running away from home, who may have suffered child sexual assault, and who look like they're desperate and need help.
Either financially, or they don't feel like anybody cares about them.
And pimps do the same sorts of things here as they do all over the world. They say, I'm going to help you, you deserve to be loved, I'm going to take care of you, and you'll be safe with me. If somebody's engaged in prostitution, our entire community seems to agree that anything can happen to them. It doesn't matter what happens to them, they can't complain and they have to accept it.
If a woman has been abused in some way, then she's much more likely to think that this is an option instead of respecting herself to the point where she won't allow this to happen, or unless she's forced to.
It is a gender imbalance, and it's definitely one of the reasons why prostitution thrives. We passed a law that allows people with prostitution convictions in Illinois to ask a judge to vacate those convictions if they can prove that it was the result of sex trafficking. And so vacating a conviction means that a judge makes a decision that that conviction was wrong. It was an unjust thing. The person should never have been found guilty of the crime of prostitution because of the wrong things that have been done to them. Decades and decades have focused their resources on arresting prostituted people, that they are an easy target, they can be picked up and spoken to any kind of way, detained, incarcerated, charged with very few consequences.
I've heard stories of officers treating victims like they, don't matter, not giving them any respect, even soliciting services from victims because they think they can take advantage of them, and they don't understand that this person needs to be respected just like everybody else.
Because that has been the response that they've always done, I think that it's really hard to change long-standing attitudes and patterns.
I think I would continue to work towards passing laws that would give the police a better understanding of how to treat victims. There are already some great laws in the state of Illinois, even laws that will help our trafficking survivors get their record expunged of especially prostitution charges, which is absolutely awesome. I think there's probably more like nitty-gritty work that needs to be done with making sure that the rights are taken care of and that people who want these types of services are the ones who are getting punished.
Governments could play a huge role. We passed a law that decriminalized all young people engaged in prostitution under the age of 18. It means they can't be charged or punished for that crime anymore. And it's not even a crime, it's that they're being exploited. And what we're trying to do is have folks think about them as human beings who are worthy of special services and be able to go after the people who are profiting from youth who are engaged in prostitution. I think another major problem is very closely related, and it's public attitudes and beliefs. Our culture is very good at lying to us about sexual assault and prostitution. And lots of people believe all the wrong things about those two issues. And because they believe those lies, they don't think they have to take action or care. When we focus all of our time and attention on blaming women in prostitution, who's being ignored? The pimps, the brothel owners, the strip club owners, the people who buy sex? They're all over there getting ignored. And so that process has got to be turned around. Governments need to fork over some of that money to start creating new specialized services for prostituted and trafficked people. They can't be in mainstream services. They're not right for them. They need their own with survivors present. If we had a lot of community-based drop-in centers and long-term safe homes in all of our communities, can you imagine how much easier it would be for someone to leave the lifestyle if they had the chance?
There are so many people who could use the help, whether it be just help reestablishing their life, or learning a skill, or even preventative measures like mentoring somebody.
And right now, there is nothing for them in many communities around the nation, and particularly here in Illinois. We only have 12 beds in Illinois for women and girls who have been victims of commercial sexual exploitation. 8 of those are for girls, and 4 of them are for adult women, and that's it.
Major challenges now are having the spaces for people to come and feel safe.
When it's time to do street outreach and reach out to prostituted people, what is it that we're supposed to say to them? So that's where the government could be incredibly helpful. Fund law enforcement to focus their effort on demand and focus their effort on investigation of human trafficking crimes. And the government, our leaders, our elected officials, in not asking, but tell them that that's what they're going to do. The movement has done a good job of bringing survivors into services, meaning that they provide the services, that they are advocates with legislators, that survivors are the ones who are creating their own policy solutions.
All of those efforts are needed. I think a lot can be done with people just being aware of what's happening in their neighborhood and understanding the signs and doing something about it, being brave enough to make a call to the hotline, stepping forward and saying, hey, I don't think this is right. We shouldn't go to a massage parlor, or we shouldn't go to a strip club. It's definitely a cultural shift that needs to happen.
Say that we focused on young people engaged in prostitution, human trafficking victims who are children. They're going to turn, they're 17 years old and 363 days old, and in just a few short days they'll be 18, and suddenly our community is going to decide that they're criminals. We need to be able to come up with responses that address human trafficking no matter what the age is or the gender of the person who's being trafficked. We had representatives and senators in the Illinois General Assembly who've normally been very conservative about law and order issues, and they have come to a place where they understand that it's wrong to arrest and rearrest prostituted people. And I will say, on the other side of the prevention equation, we need to prevent people who buy sex right now from doing it again. And so we're advocating that law enforcement focus their resources on actually holding them accountable for those crimes, so that they'll spread the word among other people who buy sex that it's not a good idea and we need to stop. This is the most deterrable group of people you're ever going to find, because they're mostly upper middle class people with discretionary income, and they can choose to stop anytime they want. I think the first and most important thing is that they should benefit from having close, trusting mentor relationships with other people who have survived trafficking and prostitution. It gives them an opportunity to see that they can be leaders and they can be mentors and they can get out of it and they can live a safe life. And I think that's incredibly important. I think that to the extent that they can take advantage of services that have been created especially for prostituted and trafficked people, that would also increase their wellness into the future. Good support systems and people who understand what trauma is and what it looks like. And those are all conditions that, if put in place, can set people up to be leaders and thrive. They're the experts in what has happened to them, and they're the experts in what should happen to change and improve the situation.
I promise to be kind.
Tweet.
Well, hello. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
What are you supposed to be?
Diplomat.
Oh, that's great. Well, have a happy night.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Come on, sweetie.
When you knock on the door, make sure to knock real hard, okay?
Yes, Mommy.
Oh, hello, little boy. Would you like a candy?
Yes.
Go sit down at the coffee table, please.
Okay, Mommy.
Let's see what candy you got.
Okay, mommy. Ooh, mommy, I have pretzels.
Yay.
Ooh!
Did you open that?
No.
You can't eat that then.
Why?
Because you didn't open it. It could be unhealthy for you.
Okay, mommy.
Remember, kids, every sweet is not a treat.
I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously with that costume on.
Aaliyah, what you running for?
Cause I'm late for work.
Where you work at?
Free spirit meat.
Alright, come on. I gotta go to work too.
Come on, what's wrong with you?
Let me take care.
You okay?
Yeah, let's go.
Everyone, FSM News is back and it's time to work it out.
And since it's the summer, we're back on the road. And for this newscast, we're at Waveland Park. So keep in tune.
Stay in your seats. We'll be right back with the first newscast of the summer. Welcome to FSM News on the Road. I'm Zaria Safaro.
And I'm Frederick Knighton.
Summer is the season that teens begin to slack, so the FSM team is ready to raise awareness for teen healthiness.
And one way to lead teens into being healthy throughout the summer is by enjoying healthy drinks.
Here's FSM News reporter Brittany Martin with some healthy refreshments.
Summer is just beginning, and it's time to trade hot cocoa and coffee for healthy, cool beverages.
I like to drink water to stay cool.
Mostly water and Gatorade.
One of my favorite cool drinks is Coca-Cola.
Since people are trying to stay cool during the summer, we have 2 FSM crew members who are going to demonstrate how to make cool, healthy drinks. First, we'll take it back to the studio where India Connor is.
Hello, I'm India Connor, and I'm here to show you how to make berry lime liquado. First, you will need to mix the strawberries and blueberries together. Next, you will need to put sugar inside the blender. Then add the lime juice. After that, you will add the ice. Next, I added the water and berries and blended it together.
See how simple that was? Now back to Brittany.
Thanks, India. Now we will take it over to Jakira Smith, where she will be making pomegranate lemonade. It's so easy that she's making it outside.
Thanks, Brittany. Hello, everyone. My name is Jakira Smith, and I will be making pomegranate lemonade. This is a healthy drink to keep cool during the summer. In order to make pomegranate lemonade, first I will combine sugar and lemon juice together until it's fully dissolved. Secondly, I'll pour the pomegranate juice into the pitcher and stir it all together. Next, I'll add the water to the pitcher. Lastly, I'll pour the pomegranate lemonade into the cup of ice.
That was delicious. Reporting for FSM News, I'm Brittany Martin.
Wow, I never knew there were so many healthy drinks to choose from.
Exactly. But the real question is, are these drinks helping teens to lose weight?
Well, I don't know about that, but there are lots of teen dieting plans.
Exactly. And here's Lyric Hal with more.
So I said to my girlfriend, I need to go on a diet.
Some people diet in order to stay fit during the summer.
Yeah, I just think you eat balanced food, your fruits, your vegetables. You don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Eat till you're full. That's kind of how I eat. Awesome.
Yeah, and I think, just doing everything in moderation, I really believe in that. So, yeah, having sweets every once in a while, but trying to have a balanced diet, I think that's important.
I agree completely with her.
Although people's intentions are good when dieting, some of their techniques can be risky.
I've had friends who have gone on diets that are essentially just a juice fast, where they're not eating anything of substance, just lemonade with cayenne pepper in it, which is extremely unhealthy.
But I think society in general kind of forces you to eat a certain way. They say you can't, if you want to look a certain way, you have to eat a certain way. So no one in particular has forced me, but I think everyone in general forces all of us to eat a certain way.
Some trend diets are, but not limited to, cotton ball diets, protein shakes, and calorie diets. Another risky technique is the cotton ball diet, which consists of a person dipping a cotton ball into juice and consuming it. We asked a few people have they heard of this technique.
No, I've never heard of that.
No, I haven't.
Teenagers, don't do that. It's stupid. Who's going to eat a cotton ball?
Dieting is meant to be healthy, not harmful. Fruits and veggies are more than enough.
I think that fitness is key. The best thing you can do for your body is build lean muscle. Best thing in the world.
Reporting from FSM News, I'm Lyric Hal.
Thanks, Lyric. That was really interesting.
With so much hard work and concentrating on staying healthy, teens seem to get tired.
Tune into this PSA about teen exhaustion.
You never know when you need energy, so eat healthy, kids.
As you have seen from the PSA, eating healthy gives people more energy.
Eating healthy doesn't just give you more energy, it can help you lose weight.
Yeah, Aaliyah Bosley can tell us all about weight loss.
Some Chicagoans this summer are focused on having the perfect summer body.
My perfect summer body would be abs, lots of abs, and I guess just a lean body.
Working on the abs, biceps, triceps, and be able to just hold your weight.
In order for this to take place, many have to stay fit.
I try to run between 12 and 15 miles a week, and I swim about 3 hours a week. And bike ride, and again, yoga, Pilates.
For some, weight loss is not about looking good. It's also about feeling good.
To stay healthy and to remain youthful. I have a 9-year-old daughter, so I think it's important that I can run with her and play with her. So I think it's very important to exercise, to at least maintain what I eat.
Some people are happy with the decision that they chose to lose weight.
I felt great. I felt a lot lighter, a lot less of me carrying around and stuff.
At first, I always thought I wouldn't be able to do it, and eventually, when I started seeing results and people started telling me I started to slim down, I challenged myself more to start doing more exercise and things like that. And it was just basically motivation that really helped me. I just try to continue to do what I do and stay in shape.
Reporting from FSM News, I'm Aaliyah Boxley.
Did you know there are a lot of big-name NBA free agents in this year's free agency? This year, there's a lot of big-name free agents, such as Luol Deng, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade. When this story went to air, Carmelo Anthony had not made a decision, but many are hoping he comes to the Chicago Bulls.
He should go to the Bulls because we need help. D Rose needs some help, even though he don't want him on the team.
Yeah, he's coming to the Bulls.
What team do you think will be the best fit for LeBron James in this year?
He's going to stay with the Heat and take less money so they can bring more people in.
Okay. Do you think that we will ever have a big free agency like this again?
No.
We will in the future with Wiggins and Parker.
Why do you think that players are willing to take less money to be on a better team than take more money to build their team up?
They take less money because it ain't really all about money. If you're a ball player, you would do it for the love of the sport. You wouldn't do it for no money, you know. So people be like, man, I'll just play basketball because I love it. But money is a reward at the end of the day. You show your talent, it's a reward at the end of the day. So that's why they do it.
Reporting from FSM News, this is Brian Jones.
Well, that's our show for today. Check us out next week for more FSM News.
But what if we can't wait until then? I'm
glad you asked. Viewers can also check us out on Facebook, search FSM News.
And don't forget, you can also find us on ABC7 Chicago's website in the community section.
You can also check us out on CAN TV, channels 19 and 27.
3,
2,
1, that's a wrap.
Thanks, India. Can we go somewhere else?
That was a bit. I'm sorry.
Stop drink diet.
No, something flew in my mouth for first.
Stop drink.
Did you know that there are a lot of big-name NBA free agents?
For some, wait. Spell your name.
My name is Lindell Connor, Lindee. I spell my own name. Lindell.
3,
2,
1, that's a wrap.
Free Spirit Media cultivates diverse youth voices to transform media and society.